So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
So today we are going to discuss about co-pilot in teaching and learning. And in this session, we are uh, basically try to understand what is co-pilot and how it can help in teaching and learning, both for the students and the faculty members, and what are the co-pilots available uh, in digital world and how you can use it and what are the um, uses and benefits of co-pilots. Also we'll see what are the challenges that co-pilot brings in the current educational scenario. So let's begin once. Okay, so this will be the agenda for today's session. What is Copilot and what is the difference between Copilots and the LLMs? You might have seen uh, use of Chat GPT, Grok, or other LLMs that are available, and you might have also seen the students are using those LLMs for various purpose, and even everyone from academia or industry is using those LLMs. So we'll see the difference between those two. What are the co-pilots available right now, and how co-pilots help in teaching and learning, specifically both to students and teachers. And then we'll have a demonstration of existing co-pilot. So there are n number of co-pilots available. I will demonstrate some of the uh, open source available co-pilot, and towards the end we'll see how you can create your own co-pilot using Olama framework. So that's one extra L is there. So we'll see how you can create your own co-pilot. Okay, so what is basically a co-pilot is. So if we see this term co-pilot, so it's basically a artificial intelligence tool that is designed to act as a helpful companion or assistance in your daily task. So it works as a assistance in your daily task. uh, Daily routine tasks means those tasks that require some work that may involve administrative or academic tasks. And unlike traditional softwares that you use in daily academic tasks like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, that required exact instruction or exact command or exact input from your side, a co-pilot is basically understands your natural language, like how you speak or write, and provide a contextual help for it. For example, it can suggest ideas, it can generate contents for the topic, it can automate the repetitive work based on what you are doing right at that moment. So, though you might be familiar about Chat GPT and the Grok or DeepSeek or any other LLM, which basically you gives the prompt and it generates the response. However, Copilot is something more specific to your task. So it is similar to LLM. It is a conversational uh, AI agent. So it you gives the command and then you given the context that you are working on, it gives you the response accordingly. And similar to LLM, it also works like you enter a prompt, for example, summarize a particular document, and that that tool Copilot processes and responses it. And not only the summarizing the document, but other the various academic tasks can do it. And behind it It is powered by the LLMs, but tailored for specific use cases. So, in short, if I write Copilot, what is Copilot? So, Copilot is nothing but LLMs specific use cases. So it saves time. So we'll see some of the examples. It boosts creativity, handles repetitive works, and uh, enterprise versions are also available apart from open source like Microsoft 360 Copilot, which protect data and avoid external sharing. So this is a simple how Microsoft Copilot works. So though if you do not understand it, I'm just briefly give you the idea. So Microsoft Copilot is basically one of the Copilot designed by the Microsoft, and it is available with the Microsoft tools like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even the web browser to boost the productivity. Right. So it takes the user prompt and it based on the context which is saved as a, you can think of it as a graph which for the contextual information, based on the contextual information user prompt, it modifies the prompt and it gives you the large language model which generates the output, and the output is given to the Microsoft Copilot, and then the response is also shared to the plugins or the add-ons that are there on your uh, tool, existing classical traditional tools that you have. So, so though in definition you will find out both LLMs and copilots like ChatGPT are similar, but if we talk about large language models, so those models are basically trained on vast amount of text data to generate human-like responses. Like ChatGPT, which is developed by OpenAI, is a popular LLM interface. So LLM is basically the large language model, the technology behind the uh, ChatGPT. And if it says ChatGPT, so ChatGPT is basically the user interface, which is basically a chat bot. So you where you write your question or prompt, and it responds conversationally. So it gives you the response in natural language. So for general purpose task is like brainstorming stories, explaining particular concepts, or casual chatting. LMs are great for those. And however, if we talk about Copilot, Copilot is more specialized and integrated. So unlike ChatGPT, which is quite uh, general tool, general purpose tool, Copilots, when we say, so similar to the aircraft where you have a pilot uh, and a co-pilot. So co-pilot is basically the for the assisting the pilot. Similarly, here also uh, co-pilot is basically assisting the users, those who are using the tools. So it integrates with the tools like office apps, browsers, or any other tools for seamless workflow. It can uh, access to your personal enterprise data securely, like emails, files, right? And this makes basically co-pilots uh, better for work specific tasks like drafting an email based on your company data or particularly automating a report. So copilot is more specific to particular task. So so the main key difference is copilot are context aware tools, whereas ChatGPT or other LLMs is general encyclopedia. There are different pricing versions like free, basic, paid for, advanced version if you want to use. However, if you know No, not Chat GPT is free for 1 year for Indian users. It is starting from fourth number. That is the today from today only. So it is free for 1 year. It's a paid version as well. So this is one example. So why not let me show you this. Uh, Let me show you the. All right. So for example, so if you open Edge browser, Microsoft Edge, so you will see a sign of Copilot there. So usually when you read PDFs, you read from starting to and so this is an example of a survey paper which uh, gives the idea of ML and DL approaches for fake news detection. So usually traditionally we read a document, we understand the content, and we go through the whole document together. But if you want to if you're not understanding, if you're not getting any point, or if you're not able to understand something, you can use the Copilot. So you can see here in the web browser also there is Copilot is there. So if you click it here, you can see that gives you a pop-up, and for this document you can ask anything from it. So for example, if I click it here, the add tab, so let me add the tab this. So this now you can ask anything from about this paper. So it could be, let's say, summarize the key contributions of the paper, so that will only give the response from this paper only. Okay, so again let me add. So okay, so that uh, gives you the response based on what is in the PDF. So you can ask a specific question about the content. It could be a research paper, or it could be any document from the chapter that you are trying to uh, understand it. And if some mathematics is not you're not able to understand, you can ask the GPT for it. So what uh, the what is the timeline that this study covers? For example, we want to know how what is the uh, span of years the papers are there in this paper. So that gives you that this study covers from 2010 to 22. So the latest paper it is there in 2022, which is as indicated by the analysis of fake news trend extracted from Google Trends database. So this is so any questions. For example, you might have any question you're not understanding it. You can ask it. So not only for this, I mean you might be. For example, let me open another uh, and if I add this tab, and then if let's say if you're not understanding this particular equation, so you can ask explain equation 1 with the example as well. So there might be chance that there is no example in the paper, or no example in the textbook, or no example in the particular PDF. uh, okay, so okay, took the first tab, and if I ask about this, then okay, so okay, anyway, this is giving the response to the first paper that we had open, and equation number 1, which is there in that, which was, if you see here somewhere, this formula might be there. Okay, so you can ask various questions for the PDF. So the sometime it might give you wrong response. So what you can do, you can uh, paste the content there that you are not understanding something, and you can ask the question about this. Please explain the please explain the above. So you can generate examples. You can ask the question about which you are not understanding. You can ask the topic about it. So the whole summary of the co-pilot that I was trying to explain is, it is integrated with the tool, and that co-pilot is also available with a Word or PowerPoint, where you can ask to write a draft, or let's say in the PowerPoint you are creating a table which you do not understand how to create particular formula, so you can ask co-pilot to generate formula for it and generate the graph for it and so on. So this is one of the popular co-pilot available uh, in the education. One, so going back to this, so apart from Microsoft Copilot, you which is developed by Microsoft, it has some free subscription, some free users, as a as it is there in Microsoft Edge browser. However, if you are using subscription of Word, Microsoft Office, basically, so you will see the Copilot which is there in your Word or PowerPoint. There is another popular Copilot called GitHub Copilot, which is developed by both Microsoft and GitHub. And usually the students use for writing the codes, and writing doing some programming tasks. We'll see the demo of it in GitHub Copilot as well. Then for education, there is a Google Gemini, which is available and integrated with your classroom, so you can generate various plans, and you can generate the MCQs as well, and you can create quizzes, you can create lecture plans, and so on. So that is also available. There are some other co-pilots are also available, which is available specifically in cloud service providers like Amazon. So Amazon Code Whisperer is there, Claude is there. If you want to ask general AI and safe responses, and Amazon Code Whisperer is specifically available in AWS cloud platform. So you want to write codes there, then it is there available. So Copilot basically uh, helps everywhere, not only in teaching and learning, but other area as well. But specifically for teaching and learning, it has transformed education by making teaching more efficient and learning more personalized. And those co-pilots basically automates various administrative tasks. So for example, you might have taught some topic, and then you want to quickly assess the students, so you can use co-pilots to generate some quiz questions from the co-pilot, and then the co-pilot can quickly generate and schedule those quizzes uh, in place of you. So you don't have to perform those tasks manually. The co-pilot can automate those as administrative tasks. So it basically allows educators to focus only on the student interaction. Most of those administrative tasks can be handled by those. And in 2025, uh, 54% of your students are basically uses AI, and I think this might be more than that. And 86% uses various other tools in academia for various purposes. So this co-pilots basically helps with research, idea generation, and other practices. And you can use those co-pilots for like lesson personalization, assessments. Also, you can use. However, that also brings various challenges, and I'll show you one example where uh, it becomes, I mean, quite a challenge to assess these days uh, to these students, because uh, the traditional way of assessing, so giving an assignment in the laboratory, and or asking the uh, asking the students the home assignment so that they can submit after some days. Usually uh, the objective of those assessments are that students understand that topic, and how they understand and apply those concepts that they have studied. But the problem is the these introduction of these various tools and popularity of these various tools like ChatGPT and Grok. Students nowadays do not use those tools ethically. Uh, they create the assignments, they submit the whatever the output they get from there, and they just submit without understanding the concept. So that brings lot of challenges, and to tackle those challenges, there are two solutions. One, we can we can restrict the use of those technologies, but which is a new idea, and nowadays it is not possible to restrict a student to use those co-pilots. There is another way. So since students are adopting to this technology, the educators also adopts and integrate those tools into the assessment as well. So that could be a more uh, convenient and more right way to use those technologies in the assessment part. So how Copilot helps teachers basically. So using Copilots, you can generate detailed plans. Uh, it can suggest activities which align with the standards. For example, let's say teaching an eighth grade student, you can ask the Copilot to create a 45-minute lesson plan on photosynthesis uh, for the eighth class graders. You can ask, you can take a help Copilot to make worksheets, quizzes, or even the presentations quickly. And it can also helps in grading and feedback. So automatically, it can generate rubric based grading and provide personalized content. And that also can be used for the research and the differentiation. So you can ask the Copilot to summarize a particular article that we had, like a demo, brief demo that we have seen, and use those summaries to understand and adopt those materials for diverse learners. For example, if there is a chapter in the book, and since we have a diverse audience, so students might be from different categories. So some students might be slow learner, which takes time to understand, and some are fast learners. So what you can do, you can ask the co and you have a particular topic, and for the topic the content is same. So sometimes it happens that you provide the resource to both type of students, and you found out, okay, so the fast learners, or the uh, those students who grasp quickly, they easily able to understand it. But slow learners which need more uh, explanation of these topics, or more discussion over these topics. So what you can do, you can give this, you can ask the co-pilot to generate diverse material with respect to the type of students, so that both type of students understand the topic and understand the concept uh, together. So using co-pilots, you can generate various uh, diverse materials for diverse need. So for example, some can understand the complex mathematics, or complex words, or complex content that is there. However, some students might or some learners might need a more simplified version of it with some examples. So you can generate using Copilot. And daily routine administrative tasks that are involved, like drafting an email, analyzing particular data, or that also can be done using the Copilot. And once those administrative tasks are reduced, which in turn basically reduce the stress, and you can more focus on the creative part of academic teaching and learning. Uh, for students, students use copilots in various uh, ways. So even a student can use Copilot for personalized learning. So basically, they can use Copilots to concept at, at their level. For example, they want to understand it in a simplified way, and so on. And research and summarization. So breakdowning the complex topics and so on, and collaboration, personalized learning, and coding and skill. All those uh, their co-pilots have been quite useful for the students. So there's this like coding and debugging nowadays. Since I'm from computer science department, I know how the students uses uh, co-pilots in their daily routine coding assignments that they receive in the labs. So there is also a term called vibe coding. These days is quite popular. Vibe coding means they use Copilot to write their code. So that brings this simplicity and brings the I mean quick response from the student, but that also brings the challenge that they sometimes they do not understand what Copilot is generating, and they simply use those codes generated by the Copilot. Job preparation as well, and the CVs and applications, drafting an application uh, with without those basic errors like grammatical or syntax errors. So we'll see some of the demonstration of some of the existing Copilot. We'll start with a Gemini, which is available uh, there in your Google Classroom. So I'm stopping the screen and we'll again share it. One second. Hmm. So let me share the screen. Hmm. Let us open the classroom and okay. So just let me check. Is there any questions? So okay. So in between, if you have any question or you want to interact, you can just write it on the chat. Uh, I'll 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 see those chats uh, in between the sessions and I will respond. Okay, so if you open Google Classroom, for example, uh, these are the classroom that I'm currently using. For example, let's say in Python programming. If you find out there is Gemini is written there, so you can find out Gemini here in the Google Classroom, and when you click here, that opens the Copilot that is available there in this. So you can use Gemini uh, for various tasks. So there you can see here it is generate a lesson plan, for example, outlining a lesson plan. So you can ask, for example, grade undergraduate, or I can simply write BTech. You can specify the template, or you can, for example, generate or design a 12-week undergraduate Python programming course for computer science. So it will generate uh, some learning objectives, and you can also specify uh, what size or resource available or learning needs or interest. Further, more information to generate more specific response. If we click on generate uh, lesson plan, you will see that prerequisite and activities. So those are the lesson plans it has generated, and you can if you think, okay, so this is not uh, the way that you wanted it, you can modify it. For example, uh, suggest the brief post plan. So it's the week wise, so that will uh, update it. So though this session is not about the prompt engineering, so I'm not focusing on how you write the prompt. So it again a separate concept, that how you write the prompt so that you will get the. So you can see here in the week one what is the core concept topic is going to cover, and key learning outcomes and the practical lab focus assessment. So based on the topic, for example, in this week 7, dictionary and sets were completed. So this was the learning outcome, and lab uh, practical suggests that what uh, could be the sample lab exercises that you can use in the class. Also, not only for creating the lesson plan, there are various other options are available. You can ask to generate a quiz, so you can ask uh, to generate quiz. For example, let's say uh, number of questions that you want to see, uh, generate 10, and you can uh, topic, you can describe the topic, for example, Python. So uh, since I'm teaching this course, so I'm writing the specific to this course. So it's, you can not only from computer science, you can ask for any other topics as well. Python list and dictionary. Let me, and you can suggest the type of questions. So multiple choice, or you need true false as well. So when you ask it, it will generate some. You can see here it has generated some questions for you. So given the topic, and you can write the detailed topic or content as well there. And if you want to I mean edit it, so you can always edit or modify with the prompt. So you can give the prompt. So okay, so let's say if your context of the questions are out for some specific reasons, so you want to uh, focus on particular reason. For example, let's say in an Indian context only, or you want to for example, you are asking the question from social science, and you want the question specific to particular reason, so you can narrow down the context by writing or suggesting some more uh, things. And usually in the Google Classroom, when you use in your Google Classroom or any other uh, LMS system, Usually, when you create a quiz, you go to the classwork and then you create a quiz and you create a Google form, and then you share the Google form with the students. Here, it can automatically, the Copilot can automatically generate those quizzes. So you can see here, it can be added to a class, export to a form. So you can add to the class. So it can you can add for particular class, and classwork type you can suggest whether it is a material or a quiz assignment. So it will automatically generate that form, and it will automatically integrate it, so you don't have to manually set the things there. So, and there are various other use cases as well, like create a rubric, how you are going to assess the students. Assessment criteria is what is there. uh, Project ideas, and so draft a class syllabus. So for example, so it is asking for opening in the Gemini app. So this is translate a text, refresh knowledge on a topic, and so on. So there are various uh, things you can do from the Gemini, so which is there in your Google Classroom as well. So this is one example. So you can also ask uh, to generate a coding assignment. So let's say you can ask for the assessment as well. So you can generate a quiz, instruction material. You can you can uh, create a class newsletter or professional development plan, and so on. So the very various things you can do it uh, using Gemini. Similarly, in the Edge, you can interact with the Copilot to ask the questions from the relevant documents, or you can ask the question to to extract the knowledge from those PDFs that you share. Uh, Apart from this, there are various other co-pilots that are also available. So in case of students, usually students do the vibe coding, and they use specifically computer science students, and uh, they use GitHub Copilot to write the code. So I'll though I don't know how many of you are from computer science or any other background. Let me open a new. Okay, let me close this previous project. This is a video VS Code which is used by the students to do the coding, and so let's say uh, some Python programming assignment it is doing, and then you can see here. Uh, so now, if they are doing the assignment, they can ask this uh, Copilot to write the code. So instead of writing earlier, we used to write the code here by ourselves, but nowadays student can uh, generate the program. For example, let's say uh, this is the Copilot that is there. You can write in the edit or the ask mode. Since you want if a student want to write a code, nowadays they simply write the instruction. For example, write a Python function, uh, and it is taking the context here. So it is integrated with the GitHub VS Code, the GitHub Copilot, and it is taking the context of program.py, and they simply write a Python function to, let's say, calculate the mean of a list of a number. When it writes, uh, click, Copilot not only generate the response, it automatically write the code here. So you will see it will generate the code. See here, it is generated the code, and if you think it is fine, it is okay that this looks fine for you and it is working. Uh, from your understanding, it is fine. You can accept this change, and even student uses this to understand any complex part of it. And if you want to, let's say, edit more into it, so they can write, add another function to calculate the median as well. So now it has added another function to calculate the median. So without uh, writing a single line of code, students are now using this co-pilots to write the code, and this is called the vibe coding. Not only uh, for Python, even for any other language or any other programming concepts, MATLAB, they simply write it and use it for the coding purpose. So uh, call these functions using some sample inputs in the program. So that will generate the response. However, the best practice would be whatever that is generating. If you understand what it is doing uh, there, you can. So it has added the code, and if you uh, so it also runs and generate the output, and so this code is working fine. there might be chance that you is are not able to understand something, so you can ask the GPT to uh, ask about the other code. So explain the main function in simple uh, step by step. So it will explain everything how it is working. So not only writing the code, it can also they also use it for understanding the code as well. Not only here, Gemini is also used to write the codes and do the assignments. Apart from this, they simply use the co-pilots in the Word, Excel, and the PowerPoint. Even the PowerPoint PPTs nowadays Copilot generates. So you can simply give the uh, PDF of it, and then the Microsoft Copilot can generate PDF of a document, a PDF of a content, and Microsoft Copilot can uh, generate the PowerPoint presentation for this for the topic that you have given. So this is some simple demonstration of Copilots in teaching and learning, how the students and teachers can use Copilots uh, that are available. So there are I'll show this demo in the second part of creating the Copilot after 5-10 minute break. However, those Copilots also bring lot of challenges in teaching and learning. So, like the tool that you have seen, GitHub Copilot, which is powered by the large language model, presents significant challenge for the teachers, particularly in the subject like coding, writing, and problem solving. The students can, generate answers or code quickly, and they potentially bypass the learning part of it. So, which raises a deep concern about academic integrity. Though these tools offer various opportunity to enhance education, however, if handled uh, proactively, this could help in the teaching and learning. But nowadays, uh, they pose various challenges uh, because of the current educational strategies or assessment that we use. So there are various ways to tackle these challenges. So some of the practical or sequential steps that you can use or that you can take as a teacher to mitigate issues like undetected AI use and superficial student engagement. So whenever you are creating an assessment or any assignments for the students, you always begin by creating and communicating explicit guidelines in your syllabus. One second, there's a call. I am stopping for a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so I was saying, so when you are uh, as an academician, when you are creating an assessment for the students, you always communicate explicitly explicit guidelines in your syllabus about the use cases of those AI tools. Specify what constitute acceptable AI assistants, that what is acceptable, what you can do, and unauthorized use of the those uh, AI assistants, which equate to the plagiarism in your case. So you explicitly mention what is right and what is wrong of using those AI tools, and it requires students to disclose if and how they use the AI. So what are the, including the prompts and output, what you can use, what they can use and what they cannot. Discuss about the ethics, biasness, and tool limitations also to build buy-in. And also educate yourself and students on AI capability. So familiarize you as an academician, you also familiarize yourself with the tools like Copilot by experimenting with them to understand the strength and the weakness. So there is one of the prominent weaknesses is the hallucination or biasness of these co-pilots. So even let me show you a demonstration how where we go wrong with the use of the uh, these LLMs. For example, if you most of the these days academicians are using uh, okay, so nowadays this is free for uh, okay, so hmm. So you can ask let's say, let me show you one of the example of hallucination. uh, Write a literature review on fake news detection. Write 3 4 paragraphs in chronological orders of literature. Provide citations in the text, and towards the end give the list of references you have used. Suppose this uh, you can see here it is writing the literature, and the list of references that it has generated. uh, if you find out uh, this or any other paper, you will find out some of the references are basically do not exist. So if you go to the Google Scholar, this one is there. You find out any other. this one is there, and all the list of references that it is generating, if you find out some of those references are actually do not exist, so you generate list of more resources, and then go and cross check, you will find out one of those are not actually there. So I'll suggest you to try this and see whether it is hallucinating or not. So this is uh, one of the problem with this AI agents. Now this is very important. Nowadays, earlier the assessment idea was to uh, was writing those objectives and writing those assignments in a classical or standard way. You shift your assessment focus to the process and understanding uh, instead of just giving the assignment to the student to complete particular task. Emphasize the learning journey over the end product. So uh, throughout the assignment journey, how students is learning and understanding and how the process is going, you focus on that in your assessment. So it might require the student to submit revisions, or explain their code line by line or defend solutions in the oral exam or video recordings. Use in-class quizzes, paper-based exam, or low-stake formative assessment to evaluate genuine comprehension in control settings. So this makes it harder for AI to fully substitute for the student effort. So unlike uh, previous assessment, again I'll take an example of computer science students. So uh, let me show you some example of assignment, how assignment should uh, be there. For example, let's say earlier in the classical assessment, we write Python. We write assignment like write a Python code for given this input and generate this output. Uh, However, they can simply copy that objective or assignment or program in the GitHub Copilot or any Copilot or LLM. They can generate the response. So the learning is not there. So what you can do, you can shift your assessment, which focus on the process. How you can do it? For example, let's say that this particular assignment, which gives the exercise and which says that enhancing AI generated data insight on the climate trend, and this particular assignment aims to build your skill in Python data analysis while they can leverage AI Copilot like GitHub Copilot symbols. And the student will use AI to generate initial code and then critically evaluate and modify and apply it to draw meaningful insight. So even the instruction, they can it is written there that you can use AI tool to generate Python code that load the data set. And they also have to document the exact prompt that they have used, and it has to include the raw AI generated. And then you can step by step, you can ask the students to review the AI generated code line by line or AI generated text line by line and describe how this code works and what is the key functions, any potential issue you can find out in the code. If let's say AI have uh, overlooked the machine value, why certain parts might fail in the edge cases. So when you ask this question like edge cases, initially when you generate initial code, LLMs might or the co-pilot might have forgotten to add those edge cases or tackle those edge cases. So when you see the initial when you ask the student to see the initial code and understand where it might fail, so they are basically uh, trying to understand the output of the LLM, so which actually enhancing their learning as well, instead of just using that text and submitting as an assignment. And then modify modification and optimization, you can ask the student to modify the AI generated code to aid more advanced features. So like you can say case by case how you can add or uh, modify the code. So these are this way you can integrate AI tools as well in the assessment test. So that submission requirement says that you have to disclose the AI tool that you have used and prompt, and you have to submit the Jupyter notebook or Python notebook, which is AI generated plus your modifications for 30%. So total points is 100, 30 points for AI collaboration, and 30% for evaluation explanation, and 20% for modification. So different phases might integrate use of the AI tools, because nowadays you cannot just simply say you cannot use those AI tools for submission, because students anyway are going to use those tools. Then you as an academician have to proactively uh, understand and see the use cases of those AI tools in your assessment. So to force same data analysis, which gives in a classical way, where you give an data which they need to write a Python code for data insight for climate trends, you can modify the assessment so that even they are using the AI tools or co-pilots, they actually learn the process, learn during the process. So this is the idea about Copilot. I'll take a quick 5 minute break, and then we'll see. So these are all AI tools or Copilots or LMs that are available online, and they somehow you might somewhere there is a concern about the private data and the security issues. So we'll see how you can create your own Copilot in your system without internet. So even if you don't have the internet, how you can simply use those co-pilots in your particular system, uh, even if you don't have any internet. So that brings the LLM or the co-pilot into your premise, so offline in your system using Olama. So we'll see this after 5 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can write it on the chat. I'll answer those query one by one. All right, so we are starting the session. We are resuming the session, and let me share the screen again. Acha, screen is already shared, so okay. All right, so model file is there. Okay, so there is a one framework called Olama, which is there to uh, generate or create uh, create the copilots or LLMs on your system. So that basically is an open source tool, and unlike uh, the other tool that we have seen where you go to the subscription based models where you use those LLMs for your daily task and using those LLMs as a co-pilots, and they basically the cloud services that are there like ChatGPT, Grok, or any other model. Olama is basically an open source tool, and the key feature of this that it allows you to run the large language models locally on your machines, and it is ideal for creating custom AI assistants without relying on the cloud services, and which ensures the privacy and the offline access. So in this, I mean, in this hands-on, we are going to see, we will see how you can use those LLMs as a assistance in your system, and how you can generate the outputs given the prompt in your system. So, so Olama, if you uh, go to website so of Olama, you will find out there is a website doc file is also there for all the documentation purpose. So how you quickly install it, and you see if you go to download, you'll find out there are, depending on your operating system, whether it is a Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, you can download it. So once you download, for example, if you download for Windows, uh, it will be downloaded in your system, and once it is downloaded, you can install in your system, and once it is installed, you can quickly check by terminal or even by the uh, browser. You can also check if you go to this localhost 11434. If you are seeing the Olama is running, then basically Olama is installed in your system. So you just have to install like any other software, and then using Olama you can download LLMs from from it, so that those LLMs will be there on your system. So you can also use terminal for it. If you just write Olama hyphen F version, so if you see any version details, so that means Olama is already installed in our system. So you might have seen those GPT models or any other models uses various other models. Those interfaces uses various models. For example, if you see Chat GPT, uh, that uses uh, different models for their purpose. You can see a Chat GPT Go and others are there. And similarly, uh, for example, if you have see the Edge browser, if you go to the Microsoft Copilot, and it is also using the GPT-5 model and other models. So, and we have also seen in the uh, GitHub Copilot, you can configure the different models. Okay, so that uses Claude Sonnet 3.5. You can use GPT 4.1, GPT 5. So these are the behind the scene LLMs that are there. So Olama also provide list of models that are available that you can actually download in your system and you can run it. For example, here you have a Gamma 3 model which have a different size with the 1 billion parameters, which has 815 MB size, 4 billion, 12 billion, and depending on the infrastructure available on your system, you can download any models like this DeepSeek R1 models. You can see that takes that its size is 404 and there are 671 billion parameters are there. So those models can be used in your system as well. There are simply two commands are there. If you want to download any model in your system, you can just simply type uh, Olama full, and let's say we are Gamma 3 hyphen 1B. So that will pull the model, and once the model is downloaded in your system, and since it is for demonstration purpose and looking at the capability of the system, I have pulled the smallest model. You can download uh, any other bigger model as well. Once it is downloaded, it is basically now it is on your system, so you don't have to if you just turn off your internet. I cannot turn it right now, otherwise session will be disturbed. However, if you just disconnect the internet, the model is it's still it is there in your system. So you can see here, uh, writing Olama list, you can see the model is there, 3.13, 1 billion, and you can use that as a uh, co-pilot in your system as well. So for example, let's me to run this, you can write Olama run and gamma 3 1. So when you okay, मैंने कहीं मिस्टेक कर दी क्या? ओह, Olama spelling. So now you can see the Olama is running. Now you can write any message. For example, create a 4-week lesson plan. Plan on Python programming. Oh, sorry. That is generating lesson plan for it. So week one, week two, what is the topic and activities? And during this generation and during this use cases, it is basically it is not using internet. The model is itself, it is downloaded in your system, so that can be configured on your infrastructure locally or in your organization, so that you do not need any access to the internet or any cloud service provider. That also the model downloaded also works as an endpoint, so you can basically create an application like chat gpt. So you can create a user interface, and you can use that model as a backend. See, it has generated the output, though it is in time command prompt. You can always create a user interface, because olama is also provide this models as a service, because if you run this in this endpoint, it is olama is running. So using this endpoint, you can uh, create a user interface, and you can send your queries, or basically the prompts, to this interface, and you can generate the response from there. You can customize those models according to your need. For example, these are the general purpose model. If you want to create your own model, you can create it. So let's say you want to create a teacher copilot. So what you can do, uh, let's say I want to create a teacher copilot. So for that, you have to create a custom file called model file. So that model file, uh, I have already created. So I'll show you what it contains. So that contains uh, some basic instructions. Those instructions basically is the blueprint of your custom model. It specifies behind the scene which model it will use, and a system prompt to set the AI personality and the roles, and optional parameters like creativity level, kya hona chahiye, what should be the how it should generate the response, what should the output formatting is there, that you can mention. So here, if you see here, for behind we are going to use llama 3.2, and we write the system prompt which defines this define the AI role and behavior. So uh, we write uh, the system prompt that you are teacher copilot assistant design especially for educator. Your goal is to uh, support learning by generating lesson plan and so on. So that system plan basically defines the model that we are building, and the optional parameters like temperature, which is uh, balance the creativity and so on, and top P controls the diversity. So if you have higher, then the more varied response you'll get. And parameter number of uh, uh, context window size, what is the context window size you want to keep. So these are the optional parameters are there. And some more specific optional parameters you can write. So once you create that uh, model file, using that model file you can create your own custom copilot. So 3.2 is basically 17 GB. So let me reduce. So let me write it to gamma so llama 3.2, which is 3 billion, which is 2 GB. So why not just replace it with gamma 3 1 billion, so that does not require much memory. Once it is done, you can save this model file and go to the terminal. And once you go to the terminal, so okay, so you have to, okay, once you go to the terminal, you can write olama create and your copilot name. So let's say my copilot name is teacher copilot, and the file model file that you are using is this. So once you do this, you can check the invalid float value. Okay, so this is somewhere there is a mistake in this. So we can remove this. Uh, these are all optional. Okay, so now it's created. If you see here in the list, you will find out your custom model is also generated. So you can always run this custom model as well. So you can write olama run. What is the name? Teacher copilot. So when you click it, it is start runs, and then you can write the message for this custom copilot. Create a quiz of on topic Python list. So that will create a quiz as well. So this is a small demonstration how you can use Copilot offline. So that ends the session here. So thank you. If you have any question, you can write it on the chat. Right. See the chat.
Thank you, sir, for this session. If any participant have any question, they can ask. Anyone have any question? Okay, then. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, if you can have any questions regarding this topic, you can always share on the Moodle as well, or you can contact me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So next session will begin in 13 minutes. Kindly wait.